The Buzz would like to give a big thanks to iiNet for their support.
Actually haven't even opened the lid of my laptop. Hello and welcome to The Buzz, Australia's first social media television show. And we're live, about as live as it can be. You can also watch us online at the West TV website, wtvperth.com.au/watch. And don't forget, you can participate on social media. All you have to do, if you're on Twitter, is use hashtag #TheBuzz. I'd like to say hello to my co-presenters. Good evening, Nikkita Dixon.
Good evening, Jason.
And good evening to Mr. Paul Cook.
It's lovely to be here once again.
You're a man of mystery tonight.
I am indeed, always, but tonight especially.
How did you guys go with the storm?
Oh, crazy. Actually, I'm from Mandurah, so things were pretty hectic down in Mandurah. But I think in Perth, things were pretty all right, pretty cruisy.
Very quiet where I was. It was more a shower with a bit of wind.
All right, well, let's take a look at a little bit of vision that we've got of the Perth storms.
Whoa, it looks amazing through the camera.
That's just picked up in less than a minute.
Now, there's lots and lots of vision around the place, lots of photos that we've seen flying around on social media. And that picture is fairly telling. That really does say a lot about what the Perth storm ended up being for the vast majority of Perth's population.
Well, that's exactly it. The vast majority of Perth's population. I know down in Mandurah, a few people lost their roofs and there was some general devastation. But sure, up in Perth, everything was
Well, there
fine.
you go. How Perth people see the Perth storm versus how the Perth storm actually was. Was that your experience, Mr. Cook?
Well, I found the impending Perth storm Tuesday night was a wonderful example of how social media is changing the way not only we interact with each other, but the way we talk about things that are happening. Perth storm, Stormageddon and Storm Apocalypse were the three hashtags that were flying around. And firstly, we started off, there were the tweets that were related to what was actually happening. So we had some advice, for instance, from Perth Now was saying, turn off electrical appliances, stay away from windows. We had Tweet Perth saying exams were cancelled at Curtin Uni.
Wow.
We went
due to
home
extreme
early,
weather.
so
Lots of people were cancelling dinner dates and stuff as well. Then there were tweets about people's individual situations as well. So there was Candice Barnes, who says, going to wear some nice pyjamas to bed in case she has to run to help during the night.
I saw that.
Nick Nat Nui says, palm trees are getting blown down now. And also Thomas O'Brien said, okay, just a tad scary outside.
Well,
so,
I tell you what, there's a lot more experiences that went on around the place that were actually quite catastrophic. Take a look at this vision and see if you'd like this to be your house.
For me, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Have you
that's
ever
what I
seen
mean.
moving?
That was actually on
And
Sunday night.
There you go, gone completely. That is just ridiculous. And you've got to ask the question, that looks like a fairly new kind of property as well. I wonder how culpable the builder is.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people saw that because that happened on Sunday and assumed, Tuesday night storm is going to be worse, and they thought that, those sorts of things would happen to their house.
Well, no, the Weather Bureau did actually say that it was going to be equally as bad, but probably twice as long.
They compared it to Cyclone Albi in Mandurah, which, was devastating.
But we did see winds get right up there, didn't we?
well, certainly down in Mandurah and down south and up in the hills too, people got lots of damage from the storm. I think in the city we were expecting something a bit more crazy, and people were leaving work early, so the roads were blocked. And I think that reading the tweets as the day went on too added to the excitement. It was like building up the tension.
Did you see all the pictures of the twisters and tornadoes and things? I thought they were real.
Very good point. No, it wasn't real. There was one particular picture. Let's take a look at that picture now. This is one that was doing the rounds of supposedly a twister in Ocean Reef. Now, I actually went and did a quick search on Google Images and found that particular picture was also apparently of a twister that was in Pennsylvania in 2008.
Well,
so, identical.
And this comes to another wonderful example of what's going on. So we started off with the warm-up about it from various organisations giving us warnings, people tweeting about what's happening, also people turning into jokes about what they were going to do during the storm and battening down the hatches. And then that kind of came later on at the end. Once the storm had hit and been around for an hour or so, we started getting those pictures of twisters and cyclones and cows flying through the air.
You have to do something when you're sitting around during a storm.
Yeah, but I mean, it's funny enough to do a funny photo. You don't actually need to go and pluck a photo from another storm and pretend that
Pretend
it's
that
this
it's
one.
real.
Well, there
exactly.
are a lot of photos from the movie Twister as well, which I also fell for. I'm really gullible.
Yeah. Well, you were in Mandurah, I guess, you know.
Well,
Ouch.
Well, no, as in the roofs were being blown off houses.
Oh, yes, exactly.
they really were. Moving right along, Lara Bingle, of course, back in the news because of her new TV show Being Lara Bingle. Were either of you two fortunate enough to catch the show?
No,
No,
to be honest.
me neither. So there's not really a lot to say about her.
I did hear some things though. Yeah.
She's a pretty girl, so let's look at some photos. But really, we don't have a lot to say about the TV show because none of us watched it. Perhaps you at home also watched it. If so, why don't you tweet about it using hashtag thebuzz, and we'll read out some of the best ones that are coming along. These are fantastic photos, aren't they?
I was actually discussing it today with one of my friends, and he said, look, Australians just don't buy into this sort of stuff. You know, it's very keeping up with the Kardashians type thing.
It is.
And you know what, not interested in what Lara Bingle, especially not now that she's not even in the headlines. So, yeah, let's be fair.
I think it's an interesting example of fame. Apparently, some of the tweets are saying Dave Callant, who's a comedian, was saying it's like a televised version of the hashtag first world problems. You know, that's what we're seeing.
Exactly,
we're seeing
right.
somebody dealing with everyday problems and making a show out of it. The other one I liked was from a guy called Tom Steinford who said, okay, so the Being Lara Bingle drinking game is pretty easy. Skull every time you hear like, you'll be hammered within the first 3 minutes.
There are a few tweets from Lara Bingle in there as well, like, my brother is so funny, hashtag Being Lara Bingle.
She's absolutely hilarious.
Bit of
Now,
self-promotion.
Twitter is going from strength to strength, and part of that is because they're actually starting to arc up the marketing machine. Take a look at this. This is their very first TV ad. That is your entire ad. I'm really not very impressed, Twitter. What do you think of it?
Well, I mean, I've been waiting for Twitter to come up with some way to keep themselves viable because they don't do the advertising or anything. So I was wondering, so I guess now they're doing some advertising. They're also promoting their tweets for money. So good on them. I think they're building the way up.
That ad might work for people
Need a
who
better
are
marketing
fans.
team.
Yeah, well, they do. Yeah. That ad might work for people who love NASCAR. But I think for the bulk of people who are watching that 15-second commercial, it meant nothing.
There are a lot of people in America that like NASCAR.
But probably, if anything, it's just more of a branding exercise. People know what Twitter is. It's just a reminder to go and click on it more than it is about people who haven't used Twitter before to use it or trying to explain what it is. It's just about people revisiting it, you know, much the same as driving past a bus stop and seeing a logo makes you think.
So it just reinforces it.
should go on
brings
Twitter.
it
Yeah, I need a bacon shake, exactly.
Yes. All right, moving right along, there is a new website coming along. I understand it's out of the Fairfax warehouse. Connect Pink, and it's for ladies.
Yeah, Connect Pink. It's going to be released on Friday. It's only for girls, so boys keep out.
Can't pretend.
Secret women's business?
First, I guess so. I'm not sure. I haven't been on there yet, but I was thinking about it yesterday, and I thought, you know what? I don't want anything to do with a social network only for girls because I don't find girls that entertaining. You know, they tend to talk about things that I don't care about. But I did have a read of some of the reviews, and there are some pretty cool things on there, like Swap Circle, where you can go on there and put up, like, I have a pair of shorts that, you know, I no longer fit into. Would you like to swap them for something? Or hot pink deals, which are deals on different things like fashion, I guess.
Shoes.
And I think a
shoes.
place like Facebook, you know, guys don't particularly want to hear about those things. So if you'd like to complement your Facebook experience with Connect Pink, it's a pretty cool place, I think.
But don't we already have a woman's website with Pinterest?
The research...
You say this every time. Pinterest is not just for girls.
Oh, well,
The research, this has come from a company in the US called Pew Internet, say as many as 69% of women online actively use social media, with those under 30 the biggest users. However, the fastest growing group, and I think this is where this site is aimed at, is the 45 to 65 age group. And it was actually launched in Ballarat today at the Town Hall, because the Ballarat Courier is run by Fairfax. And as you can see from the picture here, most of them are those women. It's also based rural and country women as well, not so much in the city, not so much the inner city lifestyle, but the country lifestyle, and those women who maybe are based a bit further apart from each other. So it sort of I guess, trying to bring that in, and I guess also a good bit of marketing there.
But it's a pretty good idea because, well, yeah, Fairfax, they've obviously painted this idea, but they're going to be posting articles about, you know, women's health issues and I guess anything that women might be interested in. And also, there's going to be money raised for the McGrath Foundation for breast cancer.
Well, yeah. So
it's all good. For a good
cause. Now, you might actually remember, well, I think it was last week, or perhaps even the week before, we showed you Isaac's wedding proposal. Now, everybody loved it. Everybody thought it was really cleverly done. Well, we've had the very first lip-dub divorce that's happened as well. Take a look at this.
You used to gaze into my eyes and tell me I was the best, but now you'll stare at anything with your thighs and a breast. So guess what? Now you can stare at my lawyer. 'Cause you're broke. And you snore. And when you went to Vegas, I know that you screwed this whole.
No, I didn't.
And welcome back to The Buzz. There's your global trends at the moment. Happy Flag Day. Chris Brown, swimming, Justin, which I'm going to assume is Justin Bieber, and League Cup. Of course, we'll be covering a little bit more of those later throughout the show. But first, we wanted to talk about passwords because they're in the news at the moment. Lots of passwords being dumped from databases. We know that eHarmony and LinkedIn have both lost a heap of passwords. Nikkita, what can we do about this? Can we trust any site with our password these days?
Look, no. Just to put it simply, also Last.fm was in that list of places that lost their passwords. Basically, a whole bunch of people, users on those forums and everything, their passwords got put onto a password hacking forum. You know, so anyone could get on there. And the thing is, a lot of people now have passwords, and they use the one password for everything, which is a big mistake. It means if your password gets compromised on LinkedIn, for example, then they can hack your Facebook, your email, your online banking.
Surely on LinkedIn, they wouldn't have stored those passwords in plain text. I mean...
Well, they have come back and said that, like a lot of people were complaining that they didn't have someone in charge of their security. There was one person looking after a bunch of different jobs, and that can happen in social networks. So they've come back and they are redoubling their efforts to make sure your passwords are secure, but it has happened already. So if you do have a password for LinkedIn that you have for everything else, go ahead and change it. Yeah.
All right, well, perhaps I can give a tip as well on how to actually come up with a password that you could have that's unique to every single website that you use. There's a website called passwordchart.com. It's that simple. It's free of charge. All you need to do is go there. You can see that table on the right. You can get that table customized just for you. If I make that a little bit bigger, you can see that it's a simple substitution type algorithm. But the way that it's customized for your own use is that you enter in a phrase that's going to be unique to you. In this instance, I've used foobar. You could use your own name or your surname or something that's just unique to you. And then you'd put in a word, which is the password that you want to convert using the chart. So say, for example, my word was in fact foobar, and I'm using Gmail and I want to create a unique password for that. All I have to do is tell it whether or not I want numbers and punctuation in that password. You can see the password conversion at the bottom there, and then that there is actually my password for Gmail. Now the cool thing about this is that once you've created your own unique table, you can see that it's got a number there. No one knows what table you've got. You could print that off and put it in your wallet. And in the future, when you look at it, you know if you want the password for Gmail, all you've got to do is look it up on the table. G, well, it's N, and then A, well, that's V8N, and that allows you to create a unique password every time. It looks complicated, it looks difficult, but it's really not. And I've got to tell you, this is how I generate my passwords.
But if you don't, so I was going to say, if you don't want to buy into all of that, and if it does seem too complicated, there are some simple things you can do to make sure that your password doesn't get compromised. For example, always make sure it's more than 8 characters long, because anyone with a brute force kind of password cracking device can actually get that password in a couple of minutes. Also, don't use your name and date of birth together. That's the first thing they're going to look for. Don't use words like password or ABC, EFG or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Or simple ones.
Yeah, things like that.
So go complex is
exactly,
really, All right. Let's move right along, because as always, we're running out of time here on The Buzz. Time to talk about a new application called Thumb.
Yes, well, if you need a second opinion on anything or you have too many opinions and not enough friends to share them with, you definitely want to get your hands on Thumb. It's a really simple app. Basically, when you log in, it will ask you to leave a question or to,
Actually, I think we've got some video of it. Let's take a look at that.
Let's have a look.
That color?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Puke.
Oh. Nice shirt. Thanks. I got nothing. You're cobalt blue.
And fitted. Always fitted.
Wear it like you mean it.
Oh, I love it.
Great.
I reckon that's a great ad. That's a really good ad. I've actually brought Thumb up on my iPad here as well, so we may actually be able to get a closer look at that. So at the moment, someone's saying,
What
Do
is
you
that?
like it?
for the past week or so, I've been getting off and on pains in my heart when I breathe deeply. What would you say that is? I think, quite frankly, that's the kind of question you should be asking your doctor, not asking a social network.
Yes, definitely. I also think that, you know, girls in particular might find this pretty handy because, you know, sometimes in the morning you get dressed, you don't know if you look okay, your boyfriend doesn't care, your mum thinks you look great and everything, you know, and in the middle of the day you don't want that moment where you think, oh gosh, what am I wearing? So yeah, post a photo of yourself because you can post photos on this thing along with questions and yeah, ask people what they think of your outfit first.
Well, where does it end?
But you can also target it at certain people.
You can,
so rather
you can.
than 50-year-olds telling you things you don't need to know, you
If
can target it at 30-year-old women.
let's just jump back to my iPad for a
Yeah, let's
second
go
and
back.
have a look at that. Now you can see here, I can't unfortunately make it any bigger or smaller, but a little bit earlier on I took a photo of our master control here and asked people to tell us what they think about the buzz. And unfortunately, 79% of people don't like us.
Aww.
21% do like us and 24% are neutral.
What is going to happen is the next time you're going on a date, they're going to sit in front of you and they're going to be kind of surreptitiously holding up their phone, taking a picture. Should I date this guy a second time?
Should I take this girl home?
That's right. Send it through. Oh no. Oh well. Sorry.
All right.
Well, I've got to go.
I'm sorry, 75% of the random public don't think I should go home with you today.
So I think you look like a turtle. So I'm
Guys, I'm going to have to stop you. I know this is, and I reckon we're going to have to lobby West TV to make this show an hour long.
I
but
think
we've
so.
got to move along. High-speed photography is really coming along. I'm going to show you a little bit of video. I want you to try and work out how this was filmed. Now, I watch footage like that and I just assume that that's computer generated, that it's CGI. But Paul Cook, you can tell me that it's not CGI.
No, well, it's not. Well, it's a combination of things. It's actually a camera on a robotic arm. And it's a computer programmed to move around really quickly and really fast. Imagine this is the camera. It does that kind of thing.
It's a great impression.
And then they digitally enhance it with stuff afterwards just to bring the picture out and put a bit of colour and flavour in it. But it's a motorised camera and it's taking 1,000 pictures really, really quickly. It's super high-speed photography and they throw 2 tomatoes
Absolutely,
at each other
yeah.
and
Well,
break it up. And it looks fabulous.
It is, it does, it looks absolutely fabulous and I hope we see a lot more of that kind of footage on TV as well. Moving right along, cats. Sometimes they can be spiders. That he could actually do something like that in the first place. It wouldn't be an episode of The Buzz if we didn't have cats on board. Time for us to look at global trends. Now here's one that I don't really want to talk about, so Paul and Nikkita, I'll leave this up to you. NBA is trending.
Oh, over to you, Paul.
Okay, well the NBA was the first finals this week, the first of 7 finals, and it was between the Oklahoma Thunder and the Miami Heat. Oklahoma won the first one. LeBron plays for Oklahoma or Miami. Anyway, he's one of the, not only the most valuable player, but also one of those ones we love to hate, apparently, in the NBA. So that was a big tweeting thing this week. Also,
sporting news on The Buzz.
Euro 2012 was in. Well, these are the big twins. Euro twins.
Big trends.
Euro 2012 was on this week, and basically, as much as there's soccer, there seems to have been a lot of fighting going on between people like Poland and Russia. So it's been
I'll admit I was
very
up
exciting
at
for
midnight
them.
watching a game on Monday night.
So that's been one of the big trends this week, Euro 12. Also, Sweden has been a big tweet. This is some of the fighting from the soccer.
Yeah, some of the footage from the Euro 2012.
Somebody's been kind enough to put together a 4-minute montage of
riots.
Polish fans and Russian fans basically beating the crap out of each other.
Not particularly sporting.
Well, it depends what you think
That's
of
what English
sport,
football's
really.
known for.
Let's get across to Sweden, where things, well, you would think would be a little bit quieter, but in fact, the person currently operating the Sweden Twitter account has been writing some stuff that, well, might get her in trouble.
Well, this is a great story. The Swedish government, this is from 9msn.com where I got this from. The Swedish government experimented by allowing a member of the public to run the country's official Twitter site. So they've given it to Sonia Abrahamsson. She's 27 years old, and so she's got the hash at Sweden. And so she's putting stuff in. Now, apparently, after being handed the reins, the latest curator, which was her, went on a bit of a rant about Jewish people. Saying, what's the fuzz with Jews? You can't even see if a person is Jew unless you see their penises. And even if you can, you can't be sure.
Wow. Do they not go through some kind of screening process before they hand out this?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You behave differently when you're drunk as well.
Yeah.
So that might have something to do with it.
All right, look, we're going to have to move along again. We want to give away some movie tickets. Now, there's a new movie out, and it's won quite a few awards. We're going to give away these tickets. The way that you can win, we're going to show you a little bit in a second, but the way that you can win is all you have to do is tweet using hashtag thebuzz. If you're here in Perth, because you've got to be here in Perth to go to the movies, all you need to do is tell us what country is the movie set in. I don't know if we've actually got a little bit of the footage that we can actually show here of the movie, but it looks spectacular. It looks like it's a cracker of a movie.
Where's some in the background?
An insane king. I like to drink, I like hookers with big breasts, and I like fighting.
Okay, can I have a
Doesn't.
My
Don't we
kind
all?
of movie. I hope you got enough passes for the rest of us as well. So if you go to the website aroyalaffair.com.au, you can find all the answers on there. We've got 4 double passes to give away, so get cracking on that. Use hashtag thebuzz. You've got to be in Perth. What country is the movie set in? There you go. We're already starting to do the giveaways.
Good work.
Great.
Love it, don't we?
Give you a good reason to tweet us.
Too many cats is never enough. Let's have a look at another cat, and we'll be back right after this. Hello and welcome back to The Buzz. There's our global trends. Bebo, Hamish and Andy on tonight. ADF, Sigur Rós and Chris Brown. That's what's trending now. But what are people saying about us?
Well, first, Smokin' in the Bags says, great show tonight, guys, which is very nice.
That's nice.
Cindy Lee says the buzz needs to be longer. Hashtag just saying. And another one that caught my eye was Rodney Olsen said the footy might be delayed on telly tonight because the buzz is live.
Absolutely.
Cindy Lee also said, Mr. Cook is going to fix my fence, hashtag the buzz. No doubt in reference to the storm talk earlier.
Has she seen me fix anything?
She's also from Mandurah, I imagine.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. And I like cake, says Cuzza. I don't know what that's got to do with anything, but it's good to know.
Well, if you're a big watcher of TV, particularly commercial TV, The Voice has been doing incredible numbers in the ratings. Take a look at Sarah De Bono. I know this is not Twitter and it is broadcast TV, but I need to be able to say, Sarah De Bono, yes, she gives me the De Bono. Shouldn't have done that, should I? Should have saved it for Twitter.
Should have. Well, if you'd like to follow her, you can find her at Sarah_DeBono, DEBONO. And actually, we're talking about some awesome people we can follow right now, yes?
All right, let's have a look at that. How dare you say Matt Corby is worth following?
Well, I mean,
That's not Matt Corby, that's Sarah De Bono. There's Matt Corby.
There's Matt Corby, yes.
Take a look. Look at that moustache.
Is she another singer?
Yeah.
He is another singer.
Okay.
He was at Groove in the Moo recently. He also did a show at the Astor Theatre. So you can find him at Matt_Corby. Definitely follow him.
He looks like a female version of Hannah Montana.
He's very pretty, but he does post quite often, and he also replies to a lot of the things that you say to him.
Do you reckon they were his own eyebrows?
They're pencil on.
You're terrible.
Moving right along.
Moving along. All right, so we are going to be talking about people that you should follow every week. Let's talk about Karl Stefanovic. So he got in a bit of trouble talking about State of Origin recently.
Who's Perth Hacks?
Perth Hacks. Perth Hacks is a great one to follow if you're in Perth. They post about everything from the traffic to awesome deals you can get in Perth. That's Perth Hacks, one word. So yeah, get on it.
Well, the other one actually that I quite like, and I know we don't have any supers or anything for this, Tweet Perth. Tweet Perth is another, I think it's run by Adam.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Do a great job. Lots of numbers, lots of followers, and do a great job of promoting lots of Perth businesses.
Well, and also following the local people in Perth and then finding the stuff that kind of applies to everyone and tweeting that. During the storm apocalypse was a good example. They were putting up a lot of the weather pictures and a lot of where the storm was moving kind of stuff. So they're doing a good job.
Handy if you're a Perthie.
Right.
Yeah.
All right,
As
so
we are.
look folks, again, if you want to win those movie tickets, don't forget all you have to do is tweet hashtag #thebuzz with the country that the movie is actually set in. royalaffair.com.au is where you need to go to check that out. Guys, when we talk about social media, I know that we tend to focus quite a bit on Twitter here. What are the other big up-and-coming social media networks that really are starting to make an impact?
Well, to be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot that have really stepped into what Twitter is doing or what Facebook is doing. It's interesting, I don't know about you guys, but I find myself kind of flicking between the two. Sometimes I'll spend more time Twittering, sometimes there'll be more interesting stuff on Facebook, but also forums is something we haven't touched
Let's
on.
not forget YouTube either. YouTube is I'd call it a social network, but definitely don't forget YouTube. But there are some great ones, great startups happening at the moment, and there is an absolute sea of new ones coming up at the moment.
There is. Guys, we've got to go. We're out of here. We'll be back again same time next week, 7:30 p.m. on The Buzz.
The Buzz would like to give a big thanks to iiNet for their support.